And we're back with a new devlog. For everyone new here, Drop Command is a mech combat game featuring combined arms warfare in a procedural campaign. You can pilot any unit you want, from infantry-sized power armor up to the most powerful of assault mechs. Fly across the battlefield as a VTOL pilot, or hug the ground in a main battle tank. Over the last 2 years, Drop Command has gone from a concept demo for mech combat to a playable pre-alpha with procedural terrain, pilotable mechs, tanks, VTOLs, and power armor. Now, after over 800 hours of work, we are ready to exit pre-alpha and start work on the alpha build of the game. There's a huge amount of new stuff to cover since last time, so let's just get into it. We finally have a Steam store page, so head on over to Steam and add Drop Command to your wishlist. Getting the Steam page set up took longer than expected, so I'm both glad and relieved that it's finally up. We don't have a trailer yet. I'll hold off on making that and wait until the game visuals have had another round of improvements. With the store page up, I can start working towards getting a playable demo ready, and maybe joining a Steam Next Fest sometime in the coming year. A big hurdle for indie games releasing on Steam is getting enough wish lists before launching that the Steam algorithm doesn't bury the game on release. Obviously, I want Drop Command to succeed and to reach as many mech enthusiasts as possible. I hope that entering a Steam Next Fest will help with that. It could make a huge difference to the number of people who see the game, so that is a major opportunity for us. That means that getting a playable demo as polished and bug-free as possible is going to be my main task for the next long while. In the spirit of getting the game closer to a state where I can share it with other people, I've been implementing a new main menu system. This gives a more polished place for game settings, choosing game modes, and so on. I'll be adding to the settings menu as time goes on, working on including more usability and graphics options. The game runs on Unity HDRP, which means I need to be careful to make the game playable on as many different PCs as possible. Settings that reduce GPU overhead, such as disabling volumetric fog and cloud effects, can make the game more stable on older graphics cards. The next big hurdle for the menus is going to be letting players set their own key bindings. You can see here that the first game mode has been implemented, and we're calling it Hot Drop. Starting Hot Drop allows you to play either a completely random instant action mission, or to design your own mission, setting any of the parameters in the game. This mode lets you get into the action as fast as possible for those times you don't want to play a full campaign and just want a quick low-stakes standalone mission. Hot Drop will also help me out a ton when I'm testing out new units, maps, and mission types. Speaking of new units, there are 2 new mechs added to the game this time around. The Medusa is a medium mech serving as a glass cannon. Weaker on armor than other medium mechs, it makes up for this by packing a punch with 2 medium and 4 small energy hardpoints. This mech runs very hot, but it can unleash hell with 6 plasma cannons, or extreme pinpoint damage with 6 lasers. If you've played Mech Shuffle, you'll recognize it as a plasma cannon wielding terror that fires off high heat weapons to punch through armor, and then takes a few rounds to cool off. The second new mech is the Armadillo. A heavily armored quadrupedal light mech, the Armadillo is ideal when used as a forward screen for your more vulnerable and more expensive units. A Medusa screened by several Armadillos is a pretty tough force to face up against. As well as the new mech units, there are also new fixed turret emplacements in the game. I'm still working on the raid defense and raid attack type missions, and turrets are going to feature prominently in both of those. You can look forward to a new art devlog coming soon, where Ben is going to talk about the making of tons of outpost set pieces for those new missions. Several new weapons have been added to the game. The most exciting is the completely new guided missiles weapon system. These work very well at medium to long range, and help to suppress air units by negating their maneuverability. You can use the natural arc of the guided missiles to hit units hiding behind cover, although you will need a target lock for the guidance system to kick in. Guided missiles do have several drawbacks. The first is that you lose the ability to aim yourself at weakened components, making it more difficult to make precision shots. The second drawback is that the missile warheads won't arm until they've traveled at least 50 meters. This makes them a very risky weapon to choose for close quarters combat. The guided missiles currently come in 3 sizes, the GM2 for infantry, GM4 for small, and GM12 for medium hardpoints. We've also added a small hardpoint variant for the anti-air flak cannon, and for the ballistic cannon, as well as a medium hardpoint variant of the ballistic pulse cannon. There are now over 20 weapons in the game, and of course we'll be adding many more in the future. I was expecting to add a single new biome to the game for this devlog, however I ended up adding 3. We have the distinctive pockmarked moonscape biome, with little to no atmosphere and plenty of rocky areas. I hope you like seeing stars, because there are a lot of them. There's also the new forest meadow biome. It has plenty of gullies, hillocks, and trees to hide in. And then there's the wide open grassy plains, a sprawling grassland with sparse trees and low cover. Larger units are going to have trouble staying hidden in this biome, making long-range weapons like EECs more enticing than usual. One thing I worked on quite a lot for this devlog was the debris system. Now, when you destroy a unit, there is a lot more debris and a lot more debris variety. As well, and probably more importantly, the debris is now fully destructible. This means that while you can still use debris for cover, that cover is not going to last forever. It also means that if a destroyed dropship falls out of the sky and buries you in debris, you might actually have some hope of excavating yourself, providing that you had enough firepower. There is currently an awkward bug in the game, where a destroyed mech has its legs shoot up into the air and they just kind of get stuck there. That's one I need to solve pretty soon, since it looks ridiculous and it just happens all the time for the Taurus mech. Last time I discussed adding pathfinding for the AI system, and I'm very glad to say that the A-star algorithm is now fully implemented and working really well. Units try to avoid using A-star when possible, since it is more CPU intensive than the standard navigation that they usually use. However, when they need to navigate complicated terrain, or to find a ramp to get to a new vantage point, then they're going to send a path request to the A-star manager. The A-star manager will then process path requests and notify the unit when a path has been found. So far this system is working very well, with minimal overhead in terms of CPU usage. For the current implementation, I'm using coroutines to split the workload over multiple frames by limiting the number of path requests which can be processed at one time. However, I may work more on this to make it properly multi-threaded if the pathfinding becomes a bottleneck in the future. There are a lot of other minor things that have been done for this devlog. For one, I updated to Unity version 2022 because of some engine bugs. I also updated the Mech lab so you can now edit your equipment hardpoints instead of just the weapon hardpoints. I repurposed the dropship camera system to add a cinematic camera view that you can use at any time. I also started work on the squad member status UI. This shows the health status of each living member of your squad and highlights the unit you control in gold. There's still a bit more work to do on this UI to polish it up, but it's looking good so far. I'm still working on implementing the raid defense and raid attack mission types. I expect to have those done soon, but they didn't make it in for this devlog. There are 2 things left to get those ready. We need to make the 3D models for the buildings, and I need to program a base layout generator to add base buildings as targets to either defend or destroy, and to place fixed turret emplacements in defensive positions. Next time, I hope to have expanded the Mech lab to be usable from the main menu, so you can customize your units and squads pre-mission. In terms of the HUD, I really need to add a compass bar that shows waypoints and other objectives. Player navigation tools are sorely needed. It might also make sense to work more on the main map screen and let players zoom in and out as needed so they can find objectives that are farther away. Don't forget to check out the Steam page for Drop Command. Every wishlist makes a huge difference for us. Also remember to subscribe if you want to see the next devlog when it's ready. I hope you're enjoying these. I'll try to have the next one ready in a month or 2, and I can't wait to have more progress to share. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.